Okay, so here we go with one more episode, uh, talking to a Brazilian coach, uh, Coach Cyro Leaes. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, to listen to you, and learn from you even more. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Um, before I ask you to tell a little bit about you, I'm gonna just introduce a few details about your career, and then after that you can tell a little bit about you in terms of your background, your journey. Coach Cyro Leaes, um, a Brazilian soccer coach and CBF Academy official instructor, um, an author, also with experience with Brazilian First Division, National League, men and women's soccer, clubs like Cruzeiro, Gremio, Botafogo, Ceara, etc. Also experience in Bahrain and USA. So a bunch of experience, many games behind you. Coach, thank you so much. And please, besides that, can you tell us a little bit about your journey, your beginning, your first days, your first years, please?
Yes, of course. Thank you so much for inviting me. For me, it's a personal challenge to be being here chatting in English. I will try to be fluently as long time that I don't practice like that. So if I have any kind of uh, difficulty, please support me. Okay. As you told, I am now 45 years old, and since I was a young kid, I was in love with soccer. You know that how we here in Brazil, everybody at my time, every boy that was born was really in love with soccer because cultural stuff and environments, everything about that. And I couldn't be a professional player. I didn't have the ability and the quality and the requirements to be a professional player. But I always say that yes, I played, but I didn't get paid to play. So because here in Brazil, everybody has experience to play in a different environment or scenario. At the age of 17 or 18, when I really decided that I didn't have the way to be a pro soccer player would not be my way. I decided to go inside the environment that could put me inside the soccer. And I started to study physical education university, and then specific courses to be coaches. Anyway, now I have 24, 25 years of coaching experience, different kind of levels. I already coached women's team in the highest level in Brazil. I coached men's team in Brazil in different levels in Brazil, not only in the highest level. I coached clubs in Division A, League B, League C, regional league, second division, regional league. So I have these different types of experience that I believe that were very important for my personal formation as a coach to be in touch with different scenarios. I had the opportunity to be outside Brazil 3 times in America, in USA, but in USA much more with academies, not professional clubs until now. This is something that I'm looking for, and I'm trying to focus on that, but I didn't have this opportunity to be in touch with this kind of scenario in America. And I have 2 seasons in Bahrain, Middle East, working the first league, first division, men's team. Very nice experience as well. Anyhow, I'm here to talk a little bit about soccer, about football, anyhow that you can call it. And I am a coach that's very focused on the training session, the study object. So it's a pleasure to be with you.
All right, coach. Yeah, sure, sure. Thank you so much. My first pinpoint here in our conversation, I think it's a very special. I believe it's a very special for you because just last year you became a professional Brazilian. It's a state champion with a professional women's team in Brazil, right? In
Yes,
2025.
yes.
Yes, right. So, um, how was that experience? First division, professional team. The women's soccer in Brazil is growing a lot, and you have the chance to be a state champion with Gremio. So, can you tell us a little bit about this experience? It was just last year.
The experience was incredible, was amazing, especially because it's a club in my town, the town that I live and I was born. So it gives me a different emotional engagement. So be heading this process in Grêmio was an opportunity after a lot of time coaching only men's team. I got this opportunity to be again head coach of a women's team and very high level team. The daily process was really very challenging. Uh, to be in touch again with women's uh, required me to focus in a different way, watching the same game and watching the same sessions, but being focused in different points and different details. I'm very I'm very confident that this experience of 1 year, one full season, is not easy here in Brazil to stay one full season in a big club like that. Made me a better coach, especially because being with women's one more time, I was much more focused on some details that coaching men's we are not so attention. So the experience was really, really very nice.
Okay, all right. I can imagine because Grêmio in Brazil is a Club World Cup champion, is a Libertadores da America champion. So it's a Brazilian national. They 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 have everything in terms of championship.
Hmm.
Is a big club in south of Brazil, and you have the opportunity to work there a full season and become a state champion. It's definitely something that I believe is going to be forever in your mind. And so, congratulations. Anyway,
Thank you.
congratulations for that. And coach, I would like to go for a different direction now. I would like to share with you my screen. It's about 20
Okay.
seconds or so. Uh, in terms of mental preparation, especially your last season in Grêmio, first division pressure, you have to win. You were in 2025, won the championship. So I believe a lot of mental pressure in terms of you have to win, but at the same time you have frustrations. And
Hmm.
as the head coach, you have to deal with frustrations, your frustrations, athletes or players' frustrations. So I would like to show you for 20 seconds this small video here, please.
Okay.
And I would like to hear your opinion, your thoughts.
Seeing Carlos Alcaraz like this is just heartbreaking. A worrying video has surfaced from the Miami Open where the world number one literally lost it. After Sebastian Corda broke his serve, Alcaraz turned to his coach, Samuel Lopez, and started shouting. He wasn't just frustrated, he looked completely defeated. I mean, this didn't even feel like the same player we're used to seeing. He yelled at his team that he was only playing to make the score look better, like a 6-4 or 7-5. He kept screaming, "I can't do anymore. I want to go home now, man." It was a total mental burnout caught on camera. Even though his team tried to fire him up and told him to go all the way, you could see he had already checked out emotionally. Although he managed to fight back and push it to a third set, he just didn't have that spark in the key moments.
So as the as the video I'd like to share with you, I think nowadays we are, facing a lot of mental issues with regular people, with professional athletes, professional soccer players, and you know when you coach your women's team, women's, they are a little different. The brain connections are different. They go from left to
Mhm.
right, and they are more oxytocin. Men's are more testosterone. So they are more, limbic system. Men are more about the prefrontal cortex, different areas of the brain. So how did you do with that? How was your experience in terms of mental preparation with your players to help them deal with frustrations, help your players to deal with difficult moments, especially the last season you got the championship, but of course you had a lot of problems, you had a lot of issues, and you had to deal with. So what's your thought in terms of mental, preparation for the players?
Yeah, coaching women's. What I realize is that the women's athletes, they have more frustration, more than men's. At least they show it more. Maybe men's have it, but they try to do not uh, let nobody see it. But with this group of women, I realized that I could feel it almost every day. The frustrations is not only the game match, the match result frustration. I'm talking about the daily frustration that is related to one exercise inside your training, the daily frustration that is related with the personal performance, is related with when they see that they are going to play or they are not going to start playing. So what I could feel is that in women's athlete environment, the frustration, they are with you every day, maybe in a different size. I don't know if you can understand what I'm trying to say. When we compare with men, when we have this frustration much more related with the game result, and the women's know what this teached me that as a coach we must prepare the environment with much more details and with much more control when we are heading a women's team. That's why I tell you that I believe that now I am a much better coach because I had the opportunity to be inside this scenario. That I was, it was, I had to do that to have my athletes in their individually uh, much more prepared to the session and as well to the game. One extra point that I got very surprised in the good view of the world is that the women's group, they need much more information, and they need to receive from you informations with more clearly information, and they need to have the time of talking. So giving more information, controlling much more the environment of the session, and giving the time and the space for players talking, for me was the big ai, me ajuda agora, aprendizado,
The big learning you had.
learning that I had as a coach. And I believe that those points they are strictly related with those brain situations that you say. Né? You need to know how they behavior. You need to know what they are expecting from you. You need to know what their frustration limits, because all of these details is something that you have to manage, especially if you need to have your session more fluently and being as good as you need to be. So I think it's very important those points that I didn't see so much in the men's team that I got surprised in the women's team.
Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you, coach. My next question would be about CBF Academy. CBF Academy is commemorating 10 years, if I don't make a mistake. And you are a CBF Academy official instructor. And how how do you see this new phase of license? And now CBF Academy has master degree, so many courses offered by CBF in Brazil. You are part of this now. How do you see this new phase, from CBF Academy, please?
First of all, I believe that we are late in this process as a country that lives soccer since since ever. We are too late, in my opinion, my personal opinion. But even being late, I think we are going step by step. eh? Step by step. It's not fair if we compare our step today with English step, because they started much earlier than us. So what is the scenario at the moment? The license, the CBF license C, B, and A and Pro, they are more stronger. They are with more contests, contests. The schedule are a little bit better in my opinion, but personal, I feel that we need to improve a little bit the connection between them. I think we need to improve the connections between the C, B, A, and Pro. I think this is a big challenge, especially because nowadays we are regional instructors, so it's a change that the CBF made. Until last year, we are traveling all the country giving the lessons. Now the instructors they are regional. They are talking much more regionally because of the cost, anyhow. And I believe uh, sometimes this is not so good as it was. But the point is that now we have different courses, master's degree, workshops, also the license. But what I believe is that, and I think I can say that because I am more than 3 years with, uh, it's not working, but teaching with them. I believe that sometimes we could be much more deep with some content and provide less courses. That's what I believe. I believe teaching more than 20 license, at least 20 license. You can imagine how many new coaches was in front of me inside every classroom. And I can tell you, our new coaches, they need deep content. They need it. We cannot stay only in the super, how they say, deep and
Like a plateau.
yes, uh, we need to go deep. We need to go inside more strong context. But as I told you, we are giving small steps, good steps, and I think with a little bit more time, all the process will be better. But what we need to think about, Every year,
Okay.
CBF Academy, every
Yeah.
year CBF Academy, every year CBF Academy forms hundreds of coaches every year. And our soccer market inside Brazil is ready to give the opportunities for the most part of them. This is something that I frequently talk and think about because our competition as a coach here to find a place to coach here in Brazil is really very high.
Yeah, I understand. It's a big challenge. You are telling us about what I understood is you believe that you must go deeper in terms of information, looking for more information, right?
Yes,
And more knowledge to have a better foundation in terms of um, for the coach to have like a pedagogical progress or pedagogical
yes,
process, right?
yes. This is what
Exactly.
I thought. For
Okay.
example, in my opinion, we cannot accept, for example, one coach of a high level club in Brazil that cannot handle and manage one full season of session of training. That cannot connect the different parts of the session in a big structure that will allow the players to be a better player. In my opinion, we cannot accept that, and we only can have that if we go deeper with information. But I know that's a big challenge. It's not easy to do that. But as I told you, I think we are giving the steps that we can do, we can give now. But we must go further. That's what I believe.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I may be wrong, but I think you know Brazil is a huge country in terms of the size, and it's difficult to compare with England. Like England, inside Brazil, you can have 60, 61, 62 Englands in terms of the size.
Yes.
So Italy, Spain, Portugal, the same. Germany is not going to change
Mm.
much. So I believe it's a big challenge for this, and also, as you said, it's a lot of years, a lot of decades without this specific course for coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And now, we're try to get things a little bit better and improve, enhance the license. I think it's part of the process. It's part of the process, like everything. All right, thank you, coach. Um, you know, it's still talking about CBF. Now we have CBF, the Futsal National League, and the Futsal Confederation. They seems to be working together for a better, product. Which product? Brazilian soccer. You know. So I saw something on internet in terms of they are trying to work together. I don't know if it's gonna be all these gonna be one federation, but shows that they are working together for a better, soccer environment, a better soccer. How can I say, ability to grow and get stronger. Um, you you are from Brazil. We have futsal in Brazil. That's is something about our culture. Futsal is very inside Brazilian culture, and now CBF and Futsal Federation are working together or trying to approach each other. What's your thoughts in terms of these situation? They are trying to stay together and work for a better soccer, connecting soccer and futsal.
What I believe in something in a very interesting thought. Let me share with you. Here in Brazil, where are you from specifically?
I'm from Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. Okay, I'm from Porto Alegre, so we are different parts of the same country. Uh, I would talk about what I saw in the area that I live in. Okay, maybe Rio de Janeiro is a little bit different because of the political situation. I don't know, but here in the south of Brazil, every kid when they have the first contact with the game is not with soccer, is with futsal, because futsal is inside the schools. The quadra, court, court, futsal, court are inside the physical education schedule of all ages and during the age of 4 to age of 17 at school. So when we say that all Brazilians, every Brazilian born and grow up playing soccer, we are saying that they are playing futsal. In the first contact is futsal because it's four against four in the futsal court with the futsal ball, with the futsal rules. What I don't know is that inside the brain of the kid that is playing, if they know that they are playing futsal or they think that they are playing soccer. This is something interesting for me to know because they are inside a futsal environment thinking that they are playing soccer, but they are not playing soccer. So what I'm trying to say, soccer and futsal here in Brazil from ever is mixed, especially in the young age. I cannot talk about soccer and not consider that that kid was inside the environment of futsal. Uh, what I believe that they are doing now is only to making officially something that naturally is already done. Even now that we have different organization the the city with not so many outside fields, maybe in Rio de Janeiro they have more, still having, but here in Porto Alegre we do not have outside soccer fields. Uh, the ball and the goals are inside a futsal environment. Even in the big clubs now, in the young ages, inside the trainings, they use a lot of that. So, in my opinion, they were from ever mixed. I cannot see a player that today plays high level soccer that they are not outstanding futsal player. And we know that when you talk about the individual skills, futsal helps a lot because of some points. First of all, in futsal, they touch much more in the ball at the same time that if they compare with the soccer, the speed of the game, they need to be much faster in small sided. So everything that we find in futsal make the player better in soccer. So for me, it doesn't make sense to think those two sports separated.
Yeah, it's I agree. I share the same opinion. I think it's just a detail, but at the end of the day, they are together, especially from 12, 13, 14 years old down, the kids are the raw material, and the raw material starts the kids in Brazil start with 5 years old, 6, 7, 8, playing 3v3, 4v4, playing the small courts. Make total sense. Okay, thank you, coach. Uh, I will change a little bit the direction now. Uh, Many people in Brazil are telling us that Brazil doesn't produce anymore the number 10. Brazil now is all about wingers. The guy just go to play, more outside of the field, more close to the sideline. We don't produce number 10 anymore. We don't produce Zico anymore. This kind of. Some people say, Ganso was the last number 10. So this is the kind of conversation we have in Brazil. So how do you see that that opinion when people say we don't produce number 10 anymore in Brazil. What's your thoughts about it?
I agree. I agree that we do not produce the traditional old school number 10, and I believe that this is a result of uh, a process that involves a lot of points, one specific points, and I think that the most responsible for that are us, the coaches. I believe that the coaches, especially the coaches from the youth departments, they choose it to do not use anymore this specific position because we have the understanding here in Brazil, cultural understanding that this specific position uh, participates much more in the offensive moments than in the defensive moments of the game. What I believe is a big mistake of understanding that we make. But understanding like that, the most part of the coaches they decide to do not stimulate this kind of play and stimulate a different kind of play, a more competitive play, a tactical play, much more than an individually play. What I believe about that, what I think about that, I am a fan of this position. I am a fan of the number 10. Of course, that we cannot accept the number 10 nowadays as a number 10 of 70s and 80s. Of course, we cannot accept. But I believe that we have spot for this player. We do have spot. I believe that we do have tactical, defensive tactical um, rules or agreements that they can handle. Of course, they will not handle as a number 5 or as a number 4 or as a number 8, but they can handle as a number 10. But I also understand why the most part of the coaches they do not accept anymore this kind of player because the coaches they have to win. If you are a coach of under 10, under 9, under 8, here in Brazil, you have to win every week. You have to win, have to win, have to win. And when you have to win, the soccer that's it's collective sports became individual sport because the coach needs to think about himself. And I think this is the biggest point that we do not create no more the traditional number 8 because we believe that the number 8 only play in the offensive moment and we must have players that uh, are more committed with the defensive moment of the match because our culture here is like that. If you do not win in the weekend, maybe you get fired. And to handle it, to change that, we must change all the environment of the all the culture. We must change the understanding that the coach is the only responsible for everything, and he can be put it outside, and that everything will change. Anyhow, but I am a fan. Recently, 2 years ago, I have the opportunity to be working in Cruzeiro from Minas Gerais as a general methodological coordinator of all the youth departments. And I was very emphatic on saying and stimulating that we had to create this kind of play. But talking to all the coaches, we have difficulties about this understanding, especially because they always want to be more and more and more competitive to win the games. This is a very challenge for the clubs. The clubs want to develop the players, and the coaches they want to win the next game. If they do not talk about that seriously and officially, all the growing process will be separated into different objectives: forming players, creating players, developing players, or winning games.
Uh, uh, it's a very difficult situation we have in South America, not even Brazil. Um, Africa, sometimes I talk to coaches, African coaches, and it's completely different the mentality there because basically in South America and Africa we produce to trade. We produce to sell. It's all about trading. It's we want to produce players, and this player at the age of 18, 17 or 19, 20, this player goes somewhere else for 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. That's the target. That's the main target in many, many countries in Africa and also South America. We have to trade. And what I don't understand, what I try to understand is, I just to wrap up, just to finish. I know you're a very busy guy, a very busy coach.
No, don't
Uh,
worry. Okay.
and you know, the youth development is a production line. Like if you go to a production line of a car, they start to make the car from below. Don't And then they start to put the piece. They start to assemble the car, and when the car is done, they make a test. So if you bring this to a soccer club, we have U12, U13, U14. This is in the middle of the assembly line. This is the middle of the process. And I don't understand why people valorize so much a U12 or a U14 champion. I'm a U14 champion. I'm a U12 champion. This is not the end of the process. You cannot test the car in the middle of the process. You know what I mean? I'm trying to compare a parallel between a production line of a club and a production line of a car. So the end of the process, and then you can see what you have, what kind of player you have when this player is 17, 18, 19. And I see a lot in Brazil and also in South America, people celebrating, I'm a U12 champion, I'm a U13 champion. And for me, it means nothing because you are in the middle of the assembly line. You know what I mean?
Yes, I understand. What I think, I think when we and I can talk about that because I was handling a big process in Cruzeiro about youth development, more than 1 year over there, working with more than 20 coaches, coordinating from youth 6 to youth 20. So I can talk about that. The coaches of the youth department, they need to understand that they need to be really be the coach of the youth department. They need to have the personal. Eles devem querer ser o treinador da base. Como é que eu falo isso?
They wanna have the intention to be a youth coach.
The intention to be. They cannot be coaching youth facing the professional process at the same time. Because when we do that, we only face the professional process. They only look for the results. They do not respect so much the individual skills, the individual time by time, and then we make something that's not correct. How can I be in under 14 trying to do the same session and with the same information of the under 20? It's impossible. It's like school. When you have 7 years old, you are able to learn something. When you are 14 years old, you are able to learn a different kind of information. In soccer, is the same because we are talking about brain. We are talking about the connection between brain and to create moves. We are talking about the capacity to learn the environment that you are inside, that you are playing different moments of the game. It's all about your brain development. Each age needs different informations. Each age needs different approach of the coach. Each age needs to receive different speeches of different coaches. One coach from under 20 cannot be the same coach of under 12. It's totally different. It's totally different. the approach of the game, the scenario that you create, the organization of the session is totally different. But how do we do here? How do we do that in Brazil? Like a mess. You want the spot of the coach of under 20, no, under 12, but you want to be under 20. You want the spot of under 20 coach, but want to be assistant coach of the professional team. What kind of process we are developing? We are not developing any kind of process, any kind of process. And of course, as a final result, we do not have good players anymore. We do not have good individual skills anymore. We do not have number 10s anymore. We do not have nothing anymore. Even coaches, because a good coach of under 20 he doesn't want to be there. A good coach of under 12 doesn't want to be there. So I think we have a lot of things to discuss here in Brazil, and I'm sure that this situation that is not so clear is the responsible for this movement that we have much more foreign coaches now in Brazil than Brazilian coaches. I think all the system is responsible for that, but the coaches individually we do have responsibility about that because we must be very honest. You need to be where you want to be. For example, now I have in my mind a big discussion. I love the professional environment, but as well I really like so much the methodological coordinator. So I have to handle it inside myself. As a coach, I believe that when I am coaching in a professional team, I can use all the background about methodology that I have, methods that I have to increase my coaching profile, of course. But first thing, you must be very fair with yourself, where you want to be. I want to be under 12? No, I'm not. I don't want to be under 12 no more. Can I accept a work position of under 12? May I accept? I don't believe that I can be useful over there. But every coach knows where wants to be, and I know that's very individual and personal thinking, but I'm just saying that because I really believe that our process, soccer process in Brazil, need to be more discussed and clearly. That's what I believe because we are not making more good players and we are not making more good coaches, and that for that something is not going well.
All right. Okay, coach. Thank you so much. You know, thank you. It's almost about 50 minutes or so. I don't wanna take more of your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you. Uh, Please, just one detail, Coach Ciro, for 2026. What do you have in mind to, for the next months ahead? Are you looking for some, education? Are you looking for get another job or rest a little bit and, um, relax your mind? What do you have in mind for the next challenge ahead of you? What do you have in mind?
It's important when you are in this kind of retirement period that you put your mind to refresh a little bit because the pressure, daily pressure is really very strong. It's not for everyone to can handle with that. At this moment, I'm very focused on taking care about myself a little bit more, so about my health, about my daily routine, my mind as well. And I'm focused, especially outside Brazil. I believe now it's time for me to look for opportunities outside because I really I have the intention to be in a scenario that can where all the knowledge can be a little bit more useful than here. I think what I see, what I feel is that inside Brazil, the knowledge that maybe some coaches have, they are not so useful because of the atmosphere, because of the environment, and because of the culture. And so this is what I have inside my mind for now, for this year, to face outside and see if I can have some opportunity.
Okay, coach. Okay, coach. Thank you. And I wish you luck. If you got a opportunity inside Brazil or outside of Brazil, I know you're gonna do a very good job. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to us. I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate the opportunity. For people watching this, I'm gonna leave Coach Cyro contact in the description of the video. And Coach, thanks so much. I just I really appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost signal. We lost connection. Uh, Internet problems, real life. So I just sent him a message telling him, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And that's it. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Okay. Like, subscribe, get in touch. We have our email there. So thank you so much, you guys. Bye bye.